Hello, all our viewers out there, and welcome to the beginning and the first series that kicks off 2022. New beginnings, new face. We've got a new background look and a new logos, everything this year. So we're kicking it off in a really new way. And our guest today is the awesome Diamond Matrix Master, Ruth Elisabeth. Welcome, Ruth.
Thank you, Mandy. Thank you, Janine. Two of my favorite people in the world get to hang out with you today. I'm pretty stoked about that.
Me too. Me too. I've been really looking forward to this. I love your work. I love what you do. So I'm really keen, and as we are really keen to just introduce you to those who may not have heard of you and open them up to what you offer. Yay. So I'll hand it over to Janine, who's going to read your bio and introduce you.
Welcome, Ruth. So lovely to be here with you. Okay, so Ruth's bio. After years in the aged care and disability sectors, Ruth became a professional trainer, assessor, and remote consultant. She trained in services in cross-cultural studies, aged care and disability, and worked in rural and remote Indigenous communities. Ruth loved the shift into holistic and individualised care, particularly the initial trainings of the recovery model in mental health. 20 years ago, she was shown that we would come into diamond energy, a bridge to a new way with new law. She understood that our most intimate work is in diamond light body recoding the vibrational light body of an individual and removing the fragmentation, reconnecting the little part of us to our inner soul source, which is an initiation procedure. Ruth explains that in the procedure, we safely open the heart chakra permanently and share quantum law for stable manifestation of one's reality. Ruth now offers schools to initiate people into the diamond biofield energy and trains diamond active practitioners on how to heal and guide those souls coming through this new gateway into quantum living. Well, welcome to you, Ruth, and wow, is that new world or what? That is fantastic. I'd just say I'd like to start off with just asking you, diamond bioenergy, what exactly is it?
Okay, so diamond bioenergy is the next initiation into the new consciousness. So people, there's only very few healers and leaders, spiritual leaders, that recognize that there's actually a silver level, a gold level, and the next level was diamond. And so it's quite interesting that people don't always pick up on that. So yes, after initiating through silver is like the third level of consciousness. So when you're talking about the 4 levels of consciousness, the third level is around silver and gold, where you're coming into a time of going, I just was thinking about the cereal packet going back into the pantry, and somebody gets up and does it, and you go, oh, bonus. So for a while, I lived in what I called bonus land, and I was like, oh my God, I can make the dog roll over, bark, whatever I want to do. Because I was starting to realize that I had come to a place that I could influence my reality, whereas before that I didn't have any understanding whatsoever about it. So as I became really a much better projector and a master of my own energetic field, I was shown that it would take, the next level would be diamond, and it took 15 years at least for us to come into diamond. And it was when I was told, and this is the changing from the mind of the third dimensional mind and collective, into heart-centered fifth dimensional living. So it was between mind and heart. So it took about 15 years for myself to accelerate into that. And I was also told that we would not be able to heal cerebral palsy or Down syndrome until we came into diamond. So a healer, a sports therapist and all that as well. as a healer, doing cryon healings, Reiki, all of these different modalities, I knew that, well, we knew that we couldn't actually heal those unless we had a lot more authority and a lot more power. So the diamond light body recode that we do is to upgrade our energetic system into diamond.
That makes sense. How does one actually get recoded into the diamond energy upgrade?
It's like anything. I mean, you have Reiki masters that initiate people into Reiki. Reiki did, the most amazing job. Like, it had like a 30-year run or more. Okay, in what it brought the, Gaia and the energies of the earth up, and our frequencies as well. But it's time for people to stand upright on their feet with their power now. And so this is one of my first questions, and I've got to ask it here, is if your soul pulled out of the top of your head right now, what would your body do? And we would fall on the ground. So you can ask a doctor, a teacher, a scientist, an Uber driver, it doesn't matter who you ask, they all recognize that there is a soul that's keeping them upright on their feet. So my second question is well, what can we do with it? And it is unutterable power. It is absolutely unutterable sovereign power. And we're coming back into that consciousness now, which brings me back to why we've progressed from Reiki. And that's why I actually do all of my healing. I don't have people lying down just pouring stuff into them. They get up as unknowing as when they lay down and then they just come back next week. No, that's just tiring. Okay? It's just tiring. It's hard work. This way, okay, with the diamond light body recoding, okay, it is a process of a number of hours in which I do brain chemistry realignment with the diamond. See, the diamond energy is the Christ consciousness. It is pure lit, okay, Christ consciousness, Buddhi intellect, whatever you want to call it, from whichever background you come from. But it is the creator source within us, which is the triune being. So we've got that activated now. It's igniting. It's our responsibility to ignite the soul sovereign connection. And so we take people, initiates, through that process. But one of the first things we do is a brain chemistry realignment, because most people are disconnected from the way their brains function. So we'd run the diamond through the brain, through balance the brain chemistry, and then run it down through the central nervous system. And we actually do a full body check. It's like taking your car to the garage, and we go through everything. So we go through your limbs, your 7 systems, okay, making everything flow in diamond. Because diamond energy, being Christ consciousness, works with the original DNA. And so it reorders, it brings the reordering back from your original blueprint. And it must be so. Be so. You utter it, you believe it, it's going to happen, it has to happen. And then we go on to set up the auric field and put those protections in place so you stand. So most people are actually affected energetically by their outside environment because their auric field's not even set up. So people are empaths. We've got so much old teaching that's really not correct. I mean, we are affected, yes, but only because we don't know how to set up a light body. And yet it's quite simple. It's not difficult, but we do have to come into the diamond frequency. That's our authority. Our authority.
It's really sorry,
instant healing in that space.
That's right.
You walk out well from that space.
So it's fabulous to me personally when I hear these expanded realizations that are coming in now that who we are, the truth of us as we move into creating our new world, creating our new selves. And like you have the diamond light energy, I work with the gold frequency, and yet really, if we were to look at them, they would do a very similar thing. And it's the new world energies that are coming in now and drawing us forward into that new reality, into the new reality within us. Would you agree with that, Ruth?
Absolutely. I mean, I work with the golden energy as well.
Yeah.
Particularly to seal off anything that we've been clearing out, and that's absolutely wonderful. But we're coming into the new golden ages. Seriously, gold. So mine is coming on up, and we've brought in the rose energies of Reisha now. So the rose in that, the heart in that is absolutely amazing. What it's doing in our light field. So we are coming up. The daily downloads, of what's been happening even this week is magnificent energies. It's unutterable, it really is.
Absolutely.
Just receive and apply.
Yeah.
Yes, it's very exciting.
Yeah, the team was saying to me many months ago, no, probably a couple of years or even more ago, that we'd have the new medicinals, we'd have the new frequencies, we'd have the new colors, all the new vibrations come in ahead of the actual manifestation fully of the new world, because these frequencies were bringing in the new world through us. And so here we are in conversation today, talking about these new frequencies, these new colors, the Irisha rose, the gold frequency, the diamond light. I mean, oh my gosh, it's just, isn't it beautiful? The emerald light, that's another one. And
yes.
Hence our background, on our new logo. And yeah, it's just, it's fascinating, and I love it, and it excites me.
It does me too. It does.
Yeah.
And it was working, like coming through many years ago. And when I say many, I'd say at least 10 years ago, the diamond stuff started coming through, and we were working with that, and activations were going on, and it was powerful then. But I mean, it's really ramped up now. It's become clearer and more instant. Definitely.
It's really cool knowing that you were working with it 10 years ago, because, see, I felt like I was all alone, and people would just go, what are you talking about,
That's why I loved when I found you, Ruth, because it was like, oh my goodness, here we are. And I felt very much alone in it as well. And a lot weren't getting it either at that time. Not at all.
Yeah, the sovereigns have been walking, lonely paths, and it's really lovely to see us able to come together now and talk about these things, because we used to see another sovereign way over there, and
yes,
and they were busy doing what they were doing and so dedicated. But we'd never catch up with them. We were always too busy in our own, area of expertise. But being able to come together now is just such an honour and a privilege, and it's just such a thing after all those years of being alone and isolated,
Yeah, for sure. And I know when I first started, the team that were working through, they'd work in my body, through my body onto the person on the table. And because I wasn't in that high frequency, it felt like it was shredding my muscles, like the actual pain. It was painful to hold that vibration in my body. Now is like, are we there? Is anyone there? I'm like blended in a sense, but it was a very, very interesting journey, I have to say. And the miracles even then that were coming through and happening. But man, it was awesome.
Absolutely.
If we were to tie the diamond light, the gold frequency, the Orisha rose, the emerald light, if we were to tie them all in to a point here of our consciousness, what would we call that consciousness? How would that consciousness look and be within the point of us here, Ruth?
Well, you see, this is what I see the diamond is. The diamond is rainbow dreaming. So, I mean, people call it the diamond. See, I got it as the diamond matrix. So that's how it was introduced to me by my soul as I was coming into it. But then, of course, we've had all of the originals versions of it, as in the Rainbow Serpent, the Rainbow Dreaming, the New Dreaming, the in so many different ways. And even with the Emerald, well, I was on my face doing light work in the Kimberley on this amazing property in ceremony when the Emerald Green, when Mother came into the Emerald Green. And, so since then, my partner and other people, we've all had, so we work with the Emerald, okay, in connection to the Earth platform, and then through to the cosmic energy. So, it's all relevant. Every part is relevant. The beloveds always say to me that, you'll never understand it. Okay. Just do all my basics because I just know that it works. And people, once they become conscious, once their light bodies are switched on, which we train that you can switch your light body on in a holy instant. In a holy instant, be whole. And everything gets switched on. And that's where these colors are all of the rays. All of the rays of consciousness, all of the sounds translated. We are it, we become it, and we transmit it.
Yes, there's a whole screed of new rays or ray colours that were coming in that were the New Earth template, which I was working with a workshop and we were running through each one each week, and it was so cool. There's a list of them. There was about 12 or so, 13 maybe. Yeah, it was great.
And what people have to, well, they don't have to, but what they're realizing now is that when we say these are coming in, these new vibrations are coming in and these new colors are coming in, they're actually coming up, they're rising from within us. I mean, this newness is us. That's why we're recognizing it now, and that's why it's coming into this world, because it is us. It's the latest version, the newest version of us as the new world beings, or positive high frequency beings, which is what we are.
That's right. And the earth body. Yay.
Yes, exactly.
So I think people are still finding this difficult to translate because everything at the moment within duality. So if you can see this as the 3D, okay, so here's the reflection of the light world and light forces being in full dimensional capacity. And here is 3D and our dualistic, the game, the matrix, that's what we're coming out of. But this is, as we tap into our light, which is where we came from. I came from light. I am light. I am. So when we turn on our light body, that is consciousness. So as soon as you've got energy running through you and you come into non-issue, which we do in various ways, because we can go to a meditation, spend 20 minutes, half an hour or whatever in a meditation, I come into non-issue. Non-issue is consciousness. Why is it non-issue? I like using different words. Issue. So if I ask the client, once I've actually reconnected them and they come into their light body set up, I said, do you have any issues whatsoever like that? And then they go, no, I'm at peace. It's alignment with your soul. So this is what people are still striving for, which brings me back to the point. We think that we know what consciousness is. But when you turn on the light body and you come into peace and you have no issue, that is alignment. Your light body's switched on, okay, and that is self-mastery. That's when you can actually function. So there's a difference between going, oh yeah, I've heard that before and I know it, okay, and walking around in your little pointy you, completely missing the point. Okay, so consciousness is my light body switched on. I am simply enough. I am here. I am present. I am Ruth. I am Janine. I am Mandy. I'm sitting in full ownership of me, in my God self. Okay, feel the energy of that. Okay, and this is where resistance falls away and the mental mind has got nothing to say then, because in actual fact I've come into my conscious state. Okay, so I just want to share this with your audience because it's so important that we understand that the turning on of your light body is your self-mastery. It is your Christ consciousness. It is the connection with your higher self. Okay, so running energy until you come into no issue, because your triune being has no issue. It's already divine. Divine feminine, divine masculine, divine inner child. That's already who you are. So when you come into alignment, there's nothing to change or fix about you.
No.
Isn't that cool?
It's so cool. And there's
That
no
hard
identity,
work.
is there? Yeah.
No. I do my little spin around because it's like when I'm back to front and upside down to myself, I'm praying, wanting, desiring, needing to go to other creators for help and support. But when I come into alignment, like this, feel it right now because I'm fighting it. When we come into alignment and I am this, there's the consciousness. I am that, comma, I am that, I am. And that realization, each one of us can do it now. If we just turn this on, we're going to have a whole bunch of sovereigns, sovereign creator, connecting with their own divinity, which is 0 point quantum. So we've been talking about terms, and the mental mind goes, oh, that's interesting. I wonder how I achieve that. Okay, this is how you achieve it, by coming into alignment with your own divinity. It's sort of like, usually we're back to front arguing with ourselves, our sovereign soul, when in actual fact we're meant to be just this. Come into peace, run the energy. I am that I am Ruth. Simple as that. Now, my divinity, or from my divinity, I expand through consciously knowing that my quantum field's inside my light body. It's here. I don't have to go anywhere else. Don't have to go to another creator. And this is what we're coming out of now, is that I go to a creator and go, oh, I had a dream about this last night. What do you think? On earth would you go to another creator and ask them about your strategy that came through to you? Your divine feminine gave you that. You know, your divine masculine, go to her, so be it. Yeah, let's do it. And your divine inner child, who's not wounded, doesn't need changing, fixing, anything, is in full power to bring it into your manifested world. So this is the difference between being a conscious creator, knowing that I am complete and I need nothing. Why? Because my divinity will bring me everything that I think of in a holy instant, and that's wellness, it's mental health, supply, whatever it is, support. You don't need support, by the way, when you're actually in alignment. You've got a team, you've got all the lovers, you've got the angelic realms, you've got your sovereign soul, you've got your little people, your elementals. You're connected because when you're actually fully turned on, I am, with all assistance, I am a living temple, and I can actually produce everything that I want in a holy instant. And this is what we're coming into, is the speed of thought. So I think it comes. We do it already.
We do. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I call it presence. So when I'm with people, as just what you've been saying, Ruth, I just use slightly different words. So I call it coming into the now through your presence. So it's like, step into your body, take a breath, feel yourself in your body, feet on the ground, and state here now, and feel the power in that right now, in this moment, this very moment of now, this breath, this blink of an eye, the presence, because this is where our power is. This is where creation is right now in us, in this now moment. So yeah, very similar to what you were saying.
Absolutely. We've got different language though, I think, because we know that it all means the same, but it hits people's ears differently, and their mental bodies, emotional bodies can
absolutely totally
go, oh, I get that.
Yeah. And you know, the only part that stops us coming into that power of ourself, that presence, that I am, is our mind, is our small mind. And that's the part that's been programmed for so long to keep us separate from the truth of ourself. And but right now we're rising through it, out of it, and coming, as you said before, coming into our sovereignty, coming into our truth, awakening to our presence.
And I think the fear really is what stops a lot of us. You know, the fear of, I know for myself, it was that I knew I was a very powerful being, and I was afraid that I would use it in the wrong way if I was tempted. And I needed to trust myself to be able to hold that power, to not use it in a destructive way, but also knowing the difference. Like when we talk about the I am, there were two in the Bible, so if we go to this, Christ and Moses, who could actually create miracles or perform miracles. And the reason they could do that was because I am that I am. They knew that they were the miracle. They knew that it wasn't God, it wasn't something outside of themselves, it was actually them. And coming into that place is miraculous when you come into that full knowing and awareness of yourself as that. It's a beautiful thing, and you walk as one with everything. You know, when I'm walking through anywhere, even sitting here now, I can feel the connection to every single thing around me. I feel it within me. It is me, and there's no separation from it. It's a beautiful thing.
It's delicious.
It is.
And it costs nothing. That's what I say to people when I'm actually setting them up and doing their light work, because I have them standing up. I remember having like this 6'5" young fella, oh, glorious soul. And I'm going, this costs absolutely nothing. I had to stand on my lounge just to get to him, but it was so beautiful. It costs nothing. It costs nothing to feel this good. But people don't have to worry. I just wanted to speak on that, because people don't worry about your ego, okay? It's time to let the ego go. When you come into alignment, the ego is in bliss. Your personality is just at peace. That's like saying, you know, when you're back to front and you're actually out of alignment and you're still in seeking mode, then yeah, your poor little ego is wanting to be loved. And yet we've got this whole brand of spirituality that says you got to crush your ego, crush your ego. And you know, it's actually a principle: what you sow, you reap. So if you're actually projecting into that, it's going to want to, you know, get more power, more control, more superiority. When you come into alignment, your ego is superb, actually perfect. It's innocent. And when you come into innocence, then you can get on with creating. If you're going, this is the problem right now. We've got all of this stuff that's trying to get us to crush our ego. All you have to do is come into alignment. There is no ego. You don't have to learn to be kind, because when you're in conscious state, I am, and it only takes you a split second to get into that. Well, aren't you kind? Of course you're kind.
Yeah.
You know, am I, you know, integrous? Yes, I'm integrous. Am I honest? I'm all that. So we don't need to keep fixing all of these things that just go on, and you could spend the next 20 years trying to pluck at this and pluck at that lifetime and pluck at this. And that's why we do the Diamond School, because we actually do the pain bodies. We do all of your soul contracts. We do your wounded child. We heal the wounded child, because once it's healed, then you can meet your sovereignty, your sovereign soul, because we're creating room in our light body for the soul to come into an open heart and open. So it's very cool what's going on right now, but it is an initiation process. But people have been dogmatically trying to kill off the ego. And if that's the philosophy, it's still based in duality, which is right versus wrong, good versus bad. No, we're coming into unity consciousness, the one within us, okay, as the triune being itself. The tree of life flows. And so as we get to be that, we become it, then the ego's at peace. say, anyone, do you have any issues right now? And they go, no. Why? Because there's no duality being reflected, lived experience at that point. And then suddenly something gets their attention. They turn back around and go, oh, did you see that? And they put it their opinion, and the game starts, and then I've got to come back into alignment. And we just keep doing it until we get better at it. There's no judgment on us whatsoever. It's just that we weren't trained and we weren't taught.
That's right.
Gone into a whole lot of ritualistic practice, okay, which is no longer necessary.
Agreed 100%.
I've never been a ritualistic girl, and I was told from self not to teach it. Yes.
So that's your book that you just held up? Yeah.
I know. Look, you know what? My soul channeled this book. This come from 30 years of the high points when I got answers to things that were needed. So every part of this is basically based on quantum principles that have come through channeling. I was asking a question. So often as not, I was like on my face, like, oh my God, how am I going to deal with this? Here you go. No, and the soul just comes in and goes, well, flips it on its head. You see, quantum law is so incredibly loving, and it doesn't hold you at ransom and say, you've got to do this, this, and this before you get this. Because your board of directors, your triune being, is already at peace. Nothing to change or fix about you. You just come into alignment. Well, I could have been taught that 30 years ago. Would have been nice.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been taught that it's a complex journey to go on, when really it's actually very simplistic. You know, and really we're simplistic beings, but because of a very complex mind, we've thought very differently. Yeah, we've had it topsy-turvy, inside out, but that's like everything else in this world as well. And now we're coming into the alignment and the truth of who and what we are. So if anybody would like to buy a copy of your book, Ruth, where would they get that from?
It's actually on all of the online sites. I think it depends on how much you want to spend on distribution costs and getting it posted to you. I find that Amazon has it in a couple of days to you. And yes, and we're looking to get this book out. Look, it's amazing. It teaches you on full body wellness. So we're talking about the physical body, mental body, emotional body, and spiritual body. It's talking about coming into sovereignty. It's actually got how I came into meeting my board of directors, as I call them. And people go, what's your board of directors? What is that? Sounds weird. Well, it's who's running your company, isn't it? Who's running the show? And because I've always been in business, just kind of made sense. But this message came through to me one day. Would you put a wounded child onto your board of directors? Whoa. You see, you two just laughed because you know. When I did as well, it was like everything opened. I was like, oh my God, all my life I've had in my universe of inclusion this vibrational frequency of the wounded child who was wounded about everything, couldn't possibly believe that it was loved. How can you actually run a successful business if you don't believe that you're going to be loved? It's in your escrow. So I do strange things with my hands quite a lot. But yeah, you're a vibrational being. So if you've got a quantum field that you're projecting a wounded child onto, how could you possibly do anything other than betrayal, isolation, needing to self-protect? Self-protection, that's the wounded child.
Yeah.
Okay, that's us getting angry, victim, intimidator, rescue, that's a game. Straight there. And so my wounded child needed to be healed. My pain bodies needed to come out because I was getting really old really quick. And it's like terrible. Have you ever seen people just age within a week?
Yes.
Oh my God, that's pain bodies. So as soon as the pain bodies from all lifetimes and dimensions hit you, you age and off you go. So we also sign off your exit points, soul contracts, and all of that. And this is, I've put the removal of soul contracts into this book because people are experiencing vibrational 3D stories that just seem to be never ending, and you're a
Yes.
sanity. Sign it off. Those people are also sick of it. They're sick of coming in and reincarnating, doing all this nonsense. You see, we are free will creators.
Mm.
And one of the greatest things that we can understand is that you don't want to crush your ego, you want to know your authority as one.
Mm.
As a conscious being with the authority of free will, I can tell whatever I want. No, I'm not going to get sick. I do not give knowing consent to that. No, I don't give permission to that entity causing me problems. No, I don't give consent to mental unwellness. No, I'm not going to get that disease. And the opposite of free will, of course, is receiving your consciousness. So as soon as you bring order back into your body by the diamond or Christ consciousness, you come back into order, which is wholeness. And that is because you remove knowing consent.
Yes.
Big things that we work with, you know. Would
Mm.
you like to keep diabetes or would you like to get rid of it? Have fun with it, because it comes down to another part which you might want to ask me about, which is the law of acquisition. So each individual creator has a law of acquisition that they use in every split second, and they creation wrap or creation stream. Okay, that's also in this book. You need to know how quantum law works. Law of acquisition came through in a dream in the Kimberley, and I had to look up the word. It's like, what is acquisition? And I'm very good at acquisition because I was actually very wounded, remember? So I had to heal all of that up, and it took me about 2 years to learn about the law of acquisition. There is so much in that book for communities today, for healing families, great for domestic violence, great for mental unwellness.
So law of acquisition, Ruth, what is the law of acquisition?
Yeah. So it's like the law of attraction. I can't say that it marries up. You see, the law of attraction is me, you know, we give affirmations out. But the problem is and I totally believe in the law of attraction. Don't get me wrong, because when The Secret came out, it's like, oh my goodness, I got told only 6 months or sometime in 99, Mother's Day 99, that the science of man was going to move up a gradient until it met with God. And I expanded and I came into this and I got off my knees. I was on my knees back to front to myself. Okay, praying to this God. Anyway, I came back into this. Yes, the science of man will move up a gradient until it meets with God. And that, at the end of that year, quantum mechanics was found. We just bumped into it, of course, because it's always been there. However, and then The Secret came out whenever it did after that, which was about emanating what it is that you want and removing, again, what's it based on? Sowing and reaping. What you sow onto your quantum field has to come back to you. Sowing and reaping. Whereas we were taught it from a negative base, like it's going to get you. Judgment. It's going to get you. You're a sinner, you know, and you're going to go to hell for that. It's like, that's where I came from. That's what I was taught. It's that sort of stuff.
Right.
Not empowering, like, oh my goodness, the Christ was actually trying to say, you're a quantum creator. That's how powerful you are. That's where your power base is. It's like when you're in alignment, he said it over and over. When I'm one with my Father, I am Son of God. When I'm actually back to front and upside down, I'm Son of Man.
Yes.
Good way of putting it.
Yeah.
It's all been such a lovely journey, and a lot of that's in the book. So getting back to the law of acquisition. Okay, so law of acquiring, LORE, is a sovereign law. LAW is human law. Kind of being restricted by LAW, human law, and has got no power over us whatsoever. So have a couple, because when you get the urge to go to a coffee shop that you got an urge to go to, that's your sovereign soul. That is LORE. And nothing will stand in your way. Okay? Because human law is non-consequential to you, and you won't even see them on the way to your cup of coffee wherever you go, because you're actually moving to spontaneous, flexible, soul sovereign actions rather than
Restricted.
human law says. Okay, so back to law of acquisition. Law of acquisition comes from alignment. So we teach on there's two alignments, okay? One is plan B and one is plan A. When you're in alignment with your board of directors, your sovereign soul, okay, you'll get a prompting, okay, to come through, and the strategies come through, an idea comes through. It's called intuition. Actually comes through your divine feminine, divine masculine, the doing power, which I had no doing power in my life. I was very creative, lots and lot of strategy, but it just fall on its face all the time. The doing power of the divine masculine and then lived experience would come into being by the divine inner child. Now, with the law of acquisition, I learned that I was usually in my little pointy me, okay, trying to create affirmations in a sense of separation. However, the law of acquisition, when I am here and I'm actually acquiring what is coming through from my board of directors, remember I wrote the soul script before I came in because I'm the soul that's living it. Isn't that cute? Who am I actually arguing with?
Exactly.
Myself. We made all the agreements before we came in. That's what do is. We're just meeting up with something on our own soul script. I did.
Fantastic.
Isn't it beautiful? So now there's nothing to argue with, and we can actually do it. So by the law of acquisition, it must come to us, okay? But there are certain things that people don't understand. There's two lesser laws that absolutely interrupt your creations, and we do it ourselves. Oh my goodness. So we talk about plan B creators and we talk about plan A creators, and that came from a message through a lady I was working with was really struggling, and I one day go, what is it? Okay, what is the problem here? Why aren't we getting through? And this beautiful message came through. Listen to these words. These are all just so inspiring. A conqueror needs a battle to overcome. A conqueror needs a battle to overcome. A victor has the gates open before them. Gave me just like that. Plan B is 3D bombastic, having to get the warrior. This is all this unnatural activity that's going on with our warrior duality mentality. It's not correct, okay? You're going to be doing it for the next 10 or 20 years and you'll be no further ahead except for having a broken stick. So the victor has the gates open before them when they're in alignment, okay? They're actually creating via intuition. Oh, the power of it. When you just channel straight into the mother within you, the goddess, okay? And when you learn how that looks and what that feels like, and you're taking then divine masculine action on that which just comes through and you know what you're asking for, the divine inner child will bring it into your lived experience. So the divine inner child isn't this happy, skipping, dancing little girl. Okay, it's actually the creator that brings it into your lived experience. Okay, you arrive and you go, oh my God, I saw this, I've seen this, I've been here before. That is your divine inner child who's just brought it into your lived experience. And that's, we all have this capacity. But with the law of acquisition, if I'm living the model of plan B, then that's the type of stuff that I stubbed my toe, ended up with all of this hospital by the evening. Okay? Fortune needing insurances because we're actually living a very hard conqueror type life. So it's there's a lot to it, and that's also in the book, but the school itself is on the website and it's staggering. It's It really is. You can come out of 40-hour weeks, okay, working with one honey pot, 40 hours a week to gain the next honey pot, or 2 weeks of 40 hours. That's 80 hours that we've actually put our life on the line to get a honey pot, which everything comes out of. Okay, whereas the law of acquisition goes, particularly when you're in alignment, I thought it, and it comes, don't need to go shopping, or don't need a honey pot. What if I could create without a honey pot?
Yeah.
See, the honey pot in that work is called a creation stream. Okay, you're actually doing that by your law of acquisition to get money in your honey pot so that you can purchase. And that's what the world's taught us. If you understand the law of acquisition and you apply it to every area of your life, you'll be able to create whatever it is that you want to create. And I tell you, we haven't even started. We've got to get sovereigns through.
And no issues.
Exactly.
No issues. And when you're in that plan A, when you're running in that space, everything just moves out of the way. What would have been the obstacles in your plan B state, everything's just moved out of the way. You've made the pathway so clear, and so it's just, I have to say, bloody love it. I've been really on a hunt out. Like, that was my journey to find out how we create, how do we manifest and create stuff here. And I was really intent in finding the way, and through life I've whittled out this and I've whittled out that, and found my way, and man, I love it. I just love it. And if there's a will and a wish throughout my whole being for this world, is for everyone to find that creator within them that instantaneously just manifests it right there, right now. And we don't need something. We don't need a template either. It can come from anywhere. It's just so magical. I love it. Love it. Yeah.
You must be an 8. You were an 8 when it comes down to numerology, because I came here to learn how to manifest too.
Oh wow. I'm a 33-6 is my birth life path. 33-6.
Yeah, right. I'm not very good at this, but yeah, I've found out that that's why I'm the person that I am. But
I love it.
Us learning how to manifest. Yeah, look, if you understand the law of acquisition, you can acquire anything. A couple of those lesser laws are just so powerful, because you actually get out of your own. I tell you what, it's like if I asked you, why don't you have 6 cars? Why don't you own 6 cars right now? Do you want to answer that, Mandy?
Well, firstly, I don't need 6, but I do have a very good car.
So right there is the law of acquisition. So it's the creator saying what the creator wants, okay, or sees as useful. Whereas other creators could say, yeah, I want 6 cars because the community needs them.
Yeah.
But what happens is we actually, as individuals, so we're very individualized at the moment, but soon we're going to become so good at understanding the law of acquisition that I can actually then go, oh, that community needs a bus. Yeah, let's get a bus in. And then a bus comes to me and I just give it to them.
Yes.
But
yes.
So this is where we become that beautiful little enzyme that brings to us, because we know how to create, know how to manifest, to actually give it to community, rather than them going, I need to get government funding and there's no more funding rounds this year until next year, so we've got to wait until then, and we don't have what we need.
That's right.
We're
And
doing things the hard way.
This is what love is teaching us at the moment, as we move back into the pureness of our truth and ourself. Is love is teaching us service to others, and it's service to others is where the abundance in life is found. So you imagine a world where all of us live in service to other, how beautiful that world is right now. We're still moving into it in more and more moments. So, and the feeling that gives us to give to somebody else, and to watch their joy, to feel their joy, to witness, what goes on for them when we give to them is a blessing to ourselves as well. So
it is. The problem with the community of the world at the moment is so westernized with the Christianized philosophies and religious service view that's based in martyrdom.
Yeah.
And you can actually, and it's actually true, until you can love yourself, which means alignment, by the way, until I can align myself and turn my light body on, I cannot love another. You know, I'm finding with interpretations to the mental mind, you've got to keep proving this first, like demonstrate it, not prove it, but say, feel this. Oh, yeah, okay. And then they transfer their world, and then at a point in their own soul journey, they actually go, oh my God, I so love you. Oh my God, I so appreciate you, you know, and this appreciation for that other pours out of them as a creator, in which they're going, oh my God, I'll do anything. What can I create for you?
Yes.
And that is going to be the true service to humanity, rather than acts of kindness, like the old way said.
yes,
That's right. And that desire for something, even though they might say they don't have a desire for something to come back to them, it's that I'm going to be a good girl or a good boy if I do this kind thing. Yeah.
It gets really messy, you know. That's why I talk about tweaking all the time. I'm always tweaking things. So you just got to turn it around, because they don't realize what they're doing it for in this system. It's been so embedded. But that's why I demonstrate the turned on light body, because then you actually do have no issues. You go, oh, it's so good. I'm just in love. And you're just wanting to pour out. And that is the true soul, sovereign soul that can actually sovereignly create.
Yeah,
absolutely. So if we were to bring the subject round to what's happening right now in the world and where we're moving to, Ruth, if we were to look at the leadership now and how we're governed now, and then compare that to how we see within our mind's eye what the leadership of the new world's going to look like, what would you reply to that?
I want to say sovereign.
Yeah, but there's a lot more to it than just sovereign, isn't there?
Yes,
but really, no, you go. Sorry. Go.
Okay, so the world is a monopoly game. Okay, when I was a kid, this really explains it really well, because when I was about 11 or 12, I used to play with my family. And somehow I had the strategy worked out that if I owned all the hotels and owned the utilities and owned everything, that I actually became the bank myself, because then I owned the bank, owned all the properties, owned all houses and that. And if somebody landed on me, you were screwed. Okay? And I could make up any rules that I want. I could send them to jail. I tell you what, that period of time, I mean, I thought I must have been a really evil person, but that has never not been in my mind, especially over the last few years, and particularly while I was writing the book. So our monopoly masters are actually gotten to that point. They've been purchasing, setting up rules and human law constructs for a very long time. But at it, in fact, they are seriously lazy creators. Okay, so we're doing everything and all striving to create and become conscious and work hard and meet all the demands of society and all that type of jazz, working those 40-hour weeks, when in actual fact, ones at the top are extremely lazy creators, because they know that they just have to tick that box and they'll have several billion come into their just for that gameplay. So, you know, we've been very naive in not really seeing that. However, okay, that's Pisces. And Pisces itself cannot win. And this came out through one of the big things at the end of last year, particularly through the Lionsgate. Magenta Pixie was actually having this dream about the Pisces being devoured. And I don't know that she fully understood it either. But standing at the door of the new age, okay, the birth of the child in one of her dreams, were these yucky leech type creatures that were wanting to devour the child. And as it came through, it was that we're coming to the age of Pisces, and if you stay in Pisces, you cannot win. It's a dualistic system. You cannot win. So those that are playing the last death throes of Pisces, okay, where they're having their worlds crumple. So they're trying to create and they pixelate it and bring it together. It feels all exciting and then it just falls apart. And these are some of the indicators that I teach about in the law of acquisition. They were creating. Yeah, my cards all said the right thing and that reader told me this and, you know, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm not taking sovereign charge of my creative world, okay? And so the new leadership, however, okay, have gone through initiation process. I'm sure you guys have been through it, okay, in the opening of the heart. And the heart center in the body is being opened organically. And, you know, spiritual leaders don't even know what's going on sometimes with it. They're taking their people to hospital because they're having heart palpitations, sharp pains, look-alike to heart failure and all this stuff jazz. And I'm not talking about anything to do with the vaccination symptoms, okay? We're talking about organic heart opening activities. And this is why I came into diamond reconnection, and we do that organically at the end of our school. Because it's a Palladian light work that came through to me and opened up my heart center so that we can be fully at home. Now, so we're actually going through, like I said, initiation. We're coming up through that portal. Okay, the portal's well and truly open right now. We're in the Aquarius portal. Okay, as of the 2nd of the 2nd, 2022. But this heart center inside of us is organically opening. Okay, and we have to understand that that is the initiation process. I personally don't open anyone's heart center until they've learnt quantum law, okay? Because all I'm going to do is open your heart center, bring you into diamond, and then you're just going to be still here going bang, 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 causing atrocities on yourself. We're talking about some major creations being, you know, miscreated, which is bringing hardship to the people. So we have to actually become wise sovereign creators. So what's the new leadership? Well, Raisha, the mother energy, is coming through with the rose. Okay, the rose light in our heart, the mother. Oh my goodness, so much healing has come since she came. And why did she come? Because we've changed now from the paternal planetary council of light. So that paternal order is now signed off. They've all gone home. They're not even here. Okay, like I said, this is just the death throes. Now, and this came through an amazing teacher, Maya, okay, who has been behind a lot of it, and Shamama, Cherie, okay, and the Rise Up groups. So we've had a lot of this going on, okay, where the mother is actually now birthed into the system, which is the maternal council of light, and people are actually taking their role, their places, okay, within that council of light. And, you know, I can only know what comes through, and I'm not as clever, you know, psychically with full-on visions and that. I just have always been Ruth the gleaner. So the gleaning happens and I get the information coming through, or I'll be dreaming about it or whatever, but we do get the information to share to the people. So this time of the elephants, the new leadership, they're just, and I had this elephant just walk into me and I go, oh, I just got walked into by an elephant. And that's the power of the elephant, the construct of an elephant family with the grandmother elephant as the matriarch. And I remember doing a healing on my son, and the elephants all came in and they were just so loving and curious and right in there along with the dolphins and the whales. So the new leadership are ones who have absolutely come up, are diamond active, okay? They've actually had their heart centers open. They talk. It's very important to understand. They don't talk duality. They talk unity consciousness. Okay? And you have to listen for it because, and that's again why I wrote this book, because you won't miss it. These people are trying to create sovereign movements in the top of duality, in the top of Pisces. that doesn't even talk the same language as the pure Christos consciousness and the rose from above. Okay, so that's duality in singularity. And this is where I was getting this vision of the single and the dot. I'm going, what is the single and the dot? It's going to look like an exclamation mark. The single is me and my divinity. The dot is me doing the work that I'm doing for myself for humanity, community. The single and the dot. So the single is my unity consciousness, which has no separation. So if we've got any talk or you're listening to leadership that's still talking, I've got to protect myself, I've got to protect you, I've got to whatever, okay, causing separation at any level of community, they are still in duality. Okay, so there's a lot of people still in the high 4D realms that are still warring. A conqueror needs a battle to overcome. Okay, it takes a lot to let this go. I mean, almost a green cross goes on, you know, when you're letting go of something that you totally believed in. But we've got to come out of that warfare and we have to come into authority. I do not give known consent to that. No, so we're not going to have things attack us. No, I will not have that. No, nobody will touch the children. No. So for a while we're doing no, until we're actually saying yes. Sorry, I took off on that one.
No, that was great. I was going to ask you about the elephants. So that was really lovely that you brought that in. Yeah. And there's definitely new leadership. I mean, lots of people now are finding their new purposes too in this new, you know, it's new. It's like, yay.
I'd just like to say, because I know that we're getting close to finishing now, but I'd just like to say that elephants have been in my life for the last probably 6 years as well, Ruth. So I went away on a retreat up a beautiful mountain, and every rock took on the shape of an elephant. And I thought, this is really interesting, and then got the guidance that that it was portal energy. Within a portal, any shape can take form from the rocks and the mountains and the earth. And so the elephants had a message for me. And so I started my journey just gently, just lightly with the elephants then. And now I'm living in a property that has huge elephant sculptures in the garden. It looks like they're coming out of the jungle, and a male and a female. And like, I've been on this property for a year now, but it was only about 5 weeks ago when I was sitting on the deck of the house having a conversation, and the elephant sculptures drew my attention deeply. And then they started communicating, and they came right into the conversation, and they finished off by saying, do not forget to call on our wisdom in your conversations. We are here for you. And then the other day I had somebody come around, and we were walking around the property, and I got pulled again to the elephants, and they had a message for her. So I saw the moment she got it, and I just felt this huge openness in this lady. And I said, you've got it, haven't you? And she just went, yes, tears in her eyes. And she went, thank you. And she's just staring at these objects in the garden that look like elephants, but you know, they're representative of the elephant kingdom, the elephant civilization, which is actually off-world to the earth, the civilization of the elephants. You know, they're a beautiful extraterrestrial race, and it's time we really honoured them for who they are and what they're here for, and the love and the beauty that they, and the wisdom that they bring us.
Totally. And so there's a lot of, if anyone's listening to this, okay, that has got that experience, come on in and talk to us about it. But there's many gathering now, which is the new leadership. So the new leadership. Can I just, I did want to say, so from this week, I've had 2 messages coming through that's quite strong that could free people, if you don't mind. Can I just, that could just go up to speed.
Yeah.
One of them, I was getting burdened, and when I'm burdened, okay, my divine board of directors isn't working so well because I am taking.
Yeah.
So, what happens then? The message this week was that I've got to let go of our knowledge. So we have to so we know this system. Yes, we know it. We have studied it for years. We have been observers of it. We've done all that. That time is finished. No more observation. The burden of knowing, these people out in the world, what are they doing to themselves with these human law constructs? Yes, you know it. I just want to verify that you do know all of this. You are correct in everything that you've learned. However, it's time to let that go because it's becoming a pain. It's keeping anger in place, okay? And when that is actually holding us from the divine feminine operating in the split second, okay, it's actually keeping us from our path now. There's that now, staying in the moment to create. So then we lose all of the fun because we are burdened by the knowledge that we've had in the past. So I just want to encourage people to let go of that burden. It's you've done well, you've done a great job, but it's not time for that now. It's time to be a creator, a sovereign creator in the now moment without memory of the past nor worrying about the future, but right here, right now. Okay, so really important. There was something else and now I've just forgotten.
And very important too, I think we're finding, I know myself, I mean, for years now, more and more, my past doesn't mean anything anymore, it's just, and now it's hard to recall. It's moving away from me so far and so much that it's not a part of me really anymore, it feels, so, and the mind, the memory, all the knowledge, like you say, it's all going.
It is.
So I just
wondering, the second thing just came to mind then. So this has just happened in the last week or so, that people that I know that we've been working with their diamond light bodies and that, the message is coming in from the divine feminine. Oh my goodness, the visions, of healing places, and they're not the way we used to think, that you have to buy a property and you've got to do all of this and run retreats and red tape. Okay? No, these are like just healing space in the park or whatever. These things are like going to go for wildfire, that all of people can come together because they're walking past it. So it's like the thing about the divine feminine, her creations and the created world is absolutely powerful simplicity. So keep it simple, keep it really simple.
Yeah.
Don't worry about who and how. That's the law of acquisition. Don't worry about the who and the how. Where is it going to come from? Who's going to support me or whatever? It's all going to come because those people are already getting their own visions to meet yours. So no work involved from the divine. Remember, the gates open. The victor has the gates open before you. The strategy of the divine feminine is perfect. The divine masculine is the doing. Okay, and the divine inner child will just bring it into the lived experience. You go, oh my goodness, I was just thinking about that. So how you create by the law of acquisition, and keep yourself right out of it. Don't wrap yourself in degrees of difficulty, and it will come.
So Ruth, just finally too, do you, with your school, do you have certain times that it's starting, like you do a series of 6 weeks or something and they start this date and finish that date? Or is it something people can do at any point in time when they feel they're ready?
At the moment, I've just moved into a mixed delivery format. So the first part of it is 6 hours of light work with myself or one of our diamond practitioners. So, and it's so personal. So I always really go into that, reconstructing the diamond light body, inserting the diamond energy, etc. But and then we finish right at the end of the school, at the end of 30 hours, with diamond reconnection, which has to be done by a practitioner. However, then there's sections in between because it's working with the 4 bodies. So that's working with your light body that we're just talking about, diamond light body recoding. I'm just framing that up at the moment so we can offer that on the website. You can also purchase the Don't Play the Game. And this is where it's dealing with the mental and emotional minds, teaching quantum law, but how the system works within duality. And honestly, once you've seen it, it's like, you'll never play it again.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I didn't even know I was doing that, you know? And I mean, this is what's behind domestic violence, mental health, all of these things, because we just haven't been taught it.
Yeah.
Then the third part of the school is the law of acquisition, which is at least 10 hours. Now it's growing because we really go into who's creating what and how it actually works with manifesting. And this is the leap. This is where you turn from here. Even though you've got your light body, but this turns you into being a full capacity creator, because you have to own your sovereignty. So this is the leap. Everything about this is a shift in consciousness. It's a leap. What is that shift? It's I am, therefore, what am I creating? Okay, by the law of acquisition. So it's very powerful to understand that. At the end, we do where the open heart is the diamond reconnection. So we are actually doing a Palladian light work. Been doing it for over 20 years now. So the team comes in many light years every time to do this beautiful Palladian light work. So we do 3 sessions of that over a week. So that's quite formatted in the way it actually happens. On the website at diamondmatrixmasters.net, we have healings. So you can just get your auric field, brain chemistry rebalance. We do heart rhythm resets for children and people with mental health. So very, very powerful stuff. And then we counsel around it because people don't understand why they're experiencing what they experience, where it came from, and that we can actually let it go within a holy instant. In a holy instant, be whole.
Yes.
Course of miracles.
It's beautiful. Wonderful work, Ruth.
Thank you for your time today. You souls are just on my precious list and on the glorious realms, but I just so loved being with you today in the physical realm. Thank you.
Thank you. So loved it too.
Been lovely for me as well. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, all the very best, of course, with your creations out there. Not that you need that because you're already doing it. So thank you for saying yes to this and coming in and joining us. It was absolutely beautiful.
Love to you, Rose. Thank you.
Diamond blessings.